18 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few hitters I look to drop this week. The first guy, Fernando Tatis of the San Diego Padres. So very shocking to a lot of people that Fernando Tatis got suspended, and now he's going to be out, obviously, the rest of this season and some of next season as well, 80-game suspension for PED use. So right here, it don't surprise me anymore if someone gets busted, and Tatis has been busted. We know he's not the biggest of guys, but he's been a talented ball player since he came up. So who knows how long he's been using. But anyway, Fernando Tatis, a lost season here for him after last season having the monster 42 home run, 97 RBI with 25 stolen bases and a 282 average. And this year, he was out with the wrist injury. He got hurt in a motorcycle accident, I believe. Here's Fernando Tatis. But Tatis, he'll be back next season. And it wouldn't be surprising to me to see him come back with a vengeance a little bit after this season. Out for the year with the injury to start the year. Now with the PED suspension, he might be a little embarrassed and he might want to prove haters wrong next season. Right now is Tatis. So next year, he's going to be a question mark a little bit, even though it's probably 30 or 40 games in next season he's going to miss for this Padre team. And this Padre team was really looking forward, obviously, for Tatis to get going. He was going to start rehab soon, and to have a lineup with him and Juan Soto in it and try to be serious World Series contenders, even though I still think they could be good contenders this year here, is this San Diego Padre team. Without Fernando Tatis, but obviously redraft leagues, I would drop him. Keeper leagues, maybe I would keep him, depending where your situation is and what round you could keep him in. But right now, disappointing that he got suspended. And hopefully next season, he's clean, he comes back, and he gets the ball rolling again and puts up good numbers. And it wasn't just a fluke those years because he was enhanced. The next guy, Ramon Liriano with the Oakland Athletics. So right here, Liriano, it's been an up-and-down season for him, a guy who started the year suspended. On the year, 12 home runs, 29 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, 44 runs scored, a 223 average, and a 300 on base. But over the last month of the season, he's been idle and pretty much a non-factor for fantasy baseball. 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, a stolen base, 12 runs scored, a 196 average, and a 245 on base here for Liriano. So right now, he's not getting the job done. He's not hitting the baseball, and there's no use for him. I know this Oakland team isn't good either here, but right here, he's batting in prime positions, anywhere from 2nd to 5th in this A's lineup, but he's not getting the job done. August 8th versus the Angels, 0 for 4. August 9th versus the Angels, 1 for 4. August 10th versus the Angels, 3 for 4 with a rib. August 12th at Houston, 1 for 5 with an RBI. August 13th at Houston, 1 for 4. And August 14th at Houston, 0 for 2. So right here, those numbers aren't getting the job done. And he's been banged up a little over the last couple of days as well with a side injury. So with him not contributing, with him banged up with the side injury, month of the season, not getting anything going, this is a perfect time to drop him. And I would this week, and fantasy owners have dropped him in 4% of fantasy leagues. The next guy's Michael Brantley of the Houston Astros. So a couple days ago, he was transferred to the 60-day DL here, and he's going to go under season-ending torn labrum surgery here. So Brantley, he was having a good season over there with the Houston Astros. Solid hitter, professional hitter. Not home run or RBI power anymore, but hitting and getting on base is a specialty on the season. 5 home runs, 26 RBIs, 28 runs scored, 288 average, and a 370 on base. And next season, Brantley should be ready to go by the start of the year here with the labrum injury. Usually takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months, I believe, the diagnosis for the labrum injury. But right here, he's a pure average hitter and a singles hitter, and that's fine depending the type of fantasy leagues. It depends how many power hitters you have on your team. But even in dynasty, keeper leagues, and obviously redraft leagues, with the injury and his numbers not that great for Brantley, besides the average and on base, he's a guy that's easily dropped this week, and hopefully he makes a full recovery. And next season, he'll contribute and be a good player for the Astros and fantasy owners. But right now, I would drop him, obviously, with the injury. The next guy, Jonathan India of the Cincinnati Reds. So Jonathan India, he's banged up as well with a lower leg injury. And this season, it's been a bad year here for India compared to last year, where he had a great rookie year, 21 homers last year, 69 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, 98 runs scored, a 269 average, and a 376 on base. But over the last couple weeks here, even with the injury, he's just not contributing either. No home runs, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, a 171 average, and a 237 on base. Obviously, that's not going to get the job done here for fantasy owners and Jonathan India. I know he had a great year last year, but this Red team, a lot of turnover from last season to this season, and not a lot of protection in the lineup as well. So right now, he's been dropped in 3% of fantasy leagues. Here's Jonathan India, still owned in 74% of leagues, but with the injury and the struggles, and it's just not his year, in my opinion, or the Reds' year to do much. He's a hitter I would drop this week, no doubt about it. He could get hot and go on a tear again, but he's just a guy I don't believe will do much. And the final hitter I look to drop this week's Brandon Nimmo of the New York Mets. And Nimmo, he's probably going to get a big contract in the offseason to re-sign here with the New York Mets. And Nimmo, this season, he's been a good on-base guy, but he's not really bringing anything else for fantasy owners. 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, 70 runs scored at 265 average, and at 350 on base. And over the last couple weeks here for Nimmo, 286, no homers, 1 RBIs, 407 batting on base percentage. But if it's not average and on base, he's doing nothing else really for fantasy owners. And he'll get some runs scored as well. But the last month of the season, a homer, 7 RBIs, 14 runs scored at 232 average, and a 315 on base. And Nimmo, he's a hot and cold type of player here, no doubt about it. He's a guy that could either go on a tear for a couple weeks or do nothing, but he's not going to bring home runs really. 10 on the season, which isn't horrible, but it isn't much. He leads off for this Met team, so his RBI is always going to be low. And his batting average, they rave about it a lot, but he's only hitting, like I mentioned this season here, is Nimmo, 265. So right here, he's a guy that I think's a little bit overrated. Yeah, he hustles. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good clubhouse guy. But for fantasy baseball, I don't think he does enough. August 8th versus Cincinnati, 0 for 3 with a run. August 10th versus the Reds, 0 for 3, 2 runs. August 12th versus Philly, 0 for 4. August 13th versus Philly, 0 for 4. August 14th versus Philly, 1 for 3 with a run. And August 15th at the Braves, and that one, 2 for 4. So right here, yes, he could hit the ball a little. Yeah, he could get on base. But besides that, just runs is the only other thing he's doing is Nimmo. And there's better guys who will bring more to your fantasy team, I believe. So that's a few hitters I look to drop here for Week 18 of the fantasy baseball season.